All right, let's start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is One Thing You Can't Debunk is the Truth. Now, this is a title that came to me. You know, I wanted to do a video yesterday. I didn't get around to it. Dealing with the whole situation, with the whole Caleb thing, which we've done lessons on that before, and Elder Pastor went over it before, and he did a video on it yesterday, proving that Caleb was an Israelite and not an Edomite, and, my sentiments are the same because it's the truth. And that's why, I have a precept I want to go into, once we deal with this other issue here. And pretty much, these Christians, these wacky tacky Christians, they're in total desperation because on the one hand, when we go and we tell them that, look, you have to be an Israelite in order to be saved, which is the truth, they'll say, well, the scriptures speak about genealogies and this, that, and the other. But what do? They get on us about saying that you have to be an Israelite through your father's line in order to receive the salvation, which is the truth. And then they'll turn around and say, well, this particular person, they were an Israelite and they can be saved. So they'll go through those people's genealogies and try to say that they're of another nation, which they're not, but the same thing that they criticize us of doing, they do themselves. So it makes them a bunch of goddamn hypocrites. But anyway, before we get into that, I want to react to this video here by the Elder Karataza out in Vegas. Prove all things, commenting on Bible verses Hebrew Israelites get wrong. And this is Deacon Nakai and Brother Hassad. They got a list of 100 scriptures that the Hebrew Israelites break down wrong, and they're supposed to correct it, right? Now, the elder here sent me the video yesterday, just to get my take on what I thought. And he said, as he sent it to me, he said, he makes some good points on the first scripture he brings out. And I listened to it and I said, yeah, he makes a good point, that when it says prove all things, it's talking about, not necessarily, you have to have proof of proving that these scriptures are right or something along those lines, but so much so as proof of, the authenticity or the proof of, not so much as the authenticity, the proof of, someone doing something. I'm trying to word it to the best I can. So I understand where he was coming from. Like the scriptures say, prove a friend. How do you prove a friend? Well, you watch him. You find yourself in a certain situation. You ask him that, you need help in a certain situation. He has the ability to help you. If he helps you, then you just prove that he's a real friend. But if he doesn't help you, then you just prove that he's not a real friend. So that's the proof that it's speaking about. But you can also use it as far as proving, the scriptures, bringing proof of what the scriptures are. So I have a couple of precepts. And even Brother Hassad said that if you use it that way, you're not blaspheming, the scriptures. He said, but it really means, prove all things that, to bring, to prove somebody. Okay. For lack of better words, you go watch the video if you want. It's here on Deacon Destruction Mode. Bible verses Hebrew Israelites are wrong on. I didn't listen to anymore. I just listened to the first part of it, the first scripture that he went to. And the Spirit of Allah, I'll probably go back and listen to some more. But anyways, what I want to get into is a couple of scriptures to prove that we are supposed to bring proof of this truth, that we are supposed to prove this truth. And the first one I wanted to go to is 2 Timothy, the 4th chapter. The point is in verse 5, but I'm going to start at verse 1. There's a reason for it. It says, I charge thee therefore before the Most High and the Lord Yahushai, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. So this is our job. This is our profession, to teach the word, whether it's teaching it to the unlearned rebuking, reproving, bringing exhortation, building men's spirit up with long suffering and doctrine, because we are defenders of the gospel. And as defenders of the gospel, we are supposed to prove, the scriptures, and that's how you do it. That's the proof, because when you're rebuking somebody, you're telling them that they're wrong, but you're showing them the right way, which you're showing them the proof out of the scriptures that they are going off, that they're wrong. And this is the scripture that proves it, or that's the scripture that proves it. And you could back it up with this scripture. And when you precept that, then that's how you prove that they're going off. When somebody breaks down something wrong and you bring out the scripture to prove it, if they're a wise person, they'll take heed. Now, years ago, I had did a series on this, but when I did it, everybody was, well, not everybody, but other individuals that were coming on there were scoffing. Oh, what about this scripture? And what about that scripture? Instead of taking heed to scriptures that brothers break down wrong. I did that. I've done that in the past. I did a series of videos on that, going through different scriptures. And after a while, I said, fuck these motherfuckers. You don't want to get it. Fuck you. But now, Brother Hassad and Deacon Akab bringing it out, and I bet you they probably get all kind of laud and praise for it. I mean, not saying that they will. I'm just just saying. But I did, bring that out in the past, scriptures that brothers break down wrong. And I will go to the scripture, read it, and then break it down the right way. But nevertheless, here we go. It says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. This is why you do have to make the proof. You have to prove your ministry. All right, as it's going to say, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Why? Because you're going to have seducing spirits, doctrines of devils, heresies, apostasy, coming in and distorting the sound doctrine of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and turning them away. And here it goes. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth. And that's the reason why the reproofs, and the corrections and so on and so forth go out. Because this is the proof. When you cursing somebody out and telling them that they're going off, you're saying that I have the proof that you're going off. And this is the proof. You're not supposed to commit adultery. You're committing adultery. What is adultery? A man lying with another man's woman. That's adultery. And the penalty for that is death. So this is the proof that you're going off. So when you correct somebody, you're bringing proof. It says, and shall be turned unto what? Fables. And you see that happening a lot, especially with these One West groups. It's amazing to see. It's once a certain group gets to a certain level of certain members and certain money coming in, then all of a sudden doctrines start to change. Everything just starts to change. We've seen that with the GOCC. They're a totally complete bugged out New Age religion, New Age Christian religion. You might as well put them up there in the category of Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard and all them crazy Then you had the GOCC, which totally went off the deep end on the RCC doctrine, which is the Roman Catholic Church doctrine. Now you're seeing, the IUIC going down the route of the Christian church. And now it seems like even ISUPK is going down that route, talking about we in the new covenant. We're not in the new covenant. But anyways, it is what it is. But this is the point here, verse 5. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions. Right? Why watching in all things? Because we have to be watchmen for the Lord, because we are defenders of the gospel. You're going to have a lot of individuals that's going to come up against the gospel. Endure afflictions. Do the work of an evangelist, which is a traveler. Make full proof of thy ministry. And that's how we prove it, by going to the scriptures and proving things. Okay, this point, this, that, the other, America's going to be destroyed. America's Babylon the Great. Boom, boom, boom. Here it goes. There it goes. America's going to be destroyed in the lake of fire. The lake of fire, the nuclear missiles being shot down and the lasers from the chariots. Here's the proof. We're going to go to this scripture. We're going to go to that scripture. Let's go to Isaiah 95. Let's go to Isaiah 54:16. And let's, build from there. Let's go to Isaiah 34. This is all the proof. That's how we make full proof of our ministry. Now, when you look up this word foolproof, because they're making it seem too like if you say it like that, you're not blaspheming, but you're really going off. Now, on that particular scripture, okay, I got you. You could say that, but it also applies to proving things. All right. So the word there is plerov orejo, right? It says to bear or bring full, to make full, to cause a thing to be shown to the full, to fulfill the ministry in every part, right? And that's to prove it, to carry through to the end, accomplish things that have been accomplished, to fill one with any thought, conviction, or inclination. So, how do you convict somebody's conscience? By bringing the proof that what you're saying is the truth. Okay, you said that this scripture means that. How do you prove that? Boom, here we go. Hit that scripture. Which Vocab Malone learned how to get better debating skills by messing with the Israelites, because he's still trash, but he's learned over the years of dealing with the Hebrew Israelites how to better articulate things and how to debate. To make one certain. How do you make somebody certain? By proving, by bringing the proof. To persuade. How do you persuade? By bringing the proof. Convince one. You can't convince somebody if you just speaking empty words. You have to have something to back you up. All right, to be persuaded. So you get the idea. So make full proof of. When we scroll down here, Luke 1:1, for as much as many have taken in hand to set forth in order a declaration of those things which are most surely believed among us. How do you believe? This is the same word, for making full proof, by having a proof, by giving somebody a proof. Did not Yahushua, when the disciples, after he was crucified and came back, what was the first thing he did? He breathed the breath of life into them, gave them the understanding, and then he went through the scriptures in the Old Testament to show them where it spoke about him. See? What was that? That was the proof. And being fully persuaded or fully believed, for lack of better words, how? By being persuaded by the what? The scriptures. That what he had promised, he was able to also to perform. This is dealing with Abraham. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. How do you do that? By having proof of things. Things that can be proven, because faith is something that cannot be proven. Faith is something that you either have or you don't have. All right. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But things that pertain to the scriptures and the breakdowns, you have to have the proof. 2 Timothy 4:5, which we just read, and verse 17. Notwithstanding, the Lord stood with me and strengthened me, that by me the preaching might be fully known, or fully proven, and that all the Gentiles or Israelite foreigners might hear, and I was delivered out of the mouth of the lion. Okay, so that's one precept. Another precept is in Acts 20, verse 25. The point is in 27. And now, behold, I know that you all, among whom I have gone preaching the kingdom of the Most High, shall see my face no more. Because the Apostle Paul knew that he was going to Caesar and eventually be put to death. Wherefore I take it a record this day that I am pure from the blood of all men. Why? Because he declared unto them the scriptures. For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of the Most High. So he gave them everything. So he gave them the proof of everything. He went to the scriptures. He showed them, look, this is how, this is what is spoken of, and whenever the wicked Pharisees and them were trying to, or even the righteous Pharisees were trying to convince the Israelite foreigners to follow the law 100%, he was proving to them, look, you don't have to do it that way right now, because Yahushua is the one that stepped in and covered that, but what we do now is we keep it to the best of our ability. Okay. Next one is Titus chapter 1 and verse 9. Oh, matter of fact, before we read on, let me go back here to make full proof of that ministry. Right? Now, when we go to the different Bible translations, right? I forgot about this. Right? We're going to start off with the NLT, But you should keep a clear mind in every situation. Don't be afraid of suffering for the Lord. Work at telling others the good news and fully carry out the ministry the Most High has given you. Okay, that the one? Was this it, or was it? Let me see. No, this isn't the one. I think it's this one here in Titus. Let me just make sure. There was something that I was a translation of one of these. Yeah, this is it. All right, Titus 1:9. Salak, it wasn't that one. Holding fast the faithful word as he has been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine, which is what? Healthy doctrine, which is what? You don't just, you have to go to the scriptures. That's how we break it down, by the scriptures. That is the proof, both to exhort and to convince the gainsayer. When we look at this word, convince the gainsayer, the word is elenko, to convict, refute, confute. So how do you convict somebody? By bringing the proof. Generally with a suggestion of shame, because when the Bereans were listening to the Apostle Paul, they believed him, but then they went back and did what? Check the source, which is what? The scriptures, for the what? The proof of what the Apostle Paul was saying. So that's how they proved it. So you could use it in both ways. So let's go back. I want to show you with these different translations, just so you can get a better idea. So you could use it in both ways. It's not a big deal. NLT. He must have a strong belief in the trustworthy message he was taught. Then he will be able to encourage others with wholesome teaching and show those who oppose it where they are wrong. Now, the word show, right? Just so you can see. Allow or cause something to be visible, display or allow to be perceived, demonstrate or prove. And how do you demonstrate or prove? By showing the proof through the scriptures. Now, NIV, he must hold firmly to the trustworthy message as it has been taught, so that he can encourage others by sound doctrine and refute those who oppose it. The word refute. Prove a statement or theory to be wrong or false, disprove. So you're either proving it or you're disproving it by how? By the scriptures. Prove that someone is wrong. Deny or contradict. So if you're going to prove that somebody is wrong or disprove them wrong, you have to have the proof, which is where? In the scriptures. Let's see, which one is this? Give instruction, sound doctrine. So rebuke, refute. That's the same thing. Refute, reprove. So you get the idea. All right. And that's how you convince the gainsayer, with the scriptures, not by just saying it. You can prove somebody to see if they're authentic, or you can prove to somebody that what you're saying is true by showing them the evidence, which is what? The scriptures. So either they believe it or they don't. And when they're convicted in their mind, they believe it because they've read it for themselves. Just like the Bereans. Okay, we hear Paul, we know that he's a man of the Lord, but now we know for sure because we actually read the proof in the scriptures. It's not really much of a big deal. All right, so that's pretty much it. That you could go on and on, but what I want to get into is this whole situation with the madness of they keep trying to bring out that Job is an Edomite. I'm sorry, yeah, well they bring that out too. That Caleb was an Edomite, which is total garbage and total nonsense. Caleb is an Israelite, and the guy even went to the scripture where it said he was from the tribe of Judah, but then he tried to go to the Kenites thing. But before we read that, we get into that. Let's go to 1 John 2:20. But you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. I have not written unto you because you know not the truth, but because you know it, and that no lie is of the truth. So no lie is of the truth. So you can debunk, one thing you can't debunk, should I say, is the truth, as the name of the title is. All right. Now, when we go to Numbers 32, right? It says here, save Caleb. Matter of fact, let me read 11. Surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. Excuse me. Save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua, the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord. So now they say, well, the Kenizzites, that goes back to Esau, which they do. You have individuals among the Edomites that were called Kenizzites. Quanaziyah. Right? Kenizzite or Kenizzite, descendant of Kenaz, descendant of Kenaz. They don't really say much there. When you go to Quanazah, it says Hunter, son of Eliphaz, and grandson of Esau, one of the dukes of Edom. And then it says a brother of Caleb and father of Othniel. Right here it says, probably from an unused root, meaning to Hunter, Kenaz, the name of an Edomite and of 2 Israelites. So what is this? This is a common name that was used for, because it's a Hebrew name. And everybody in the past back then spoke Hebrew. So if an Elamite called his son Kenaz, or an Edomite called himself a son Kenaz, or an Ishmaelite called his son Kenaz, does that mean that they all come from the Edomites? No, it was just a name. Okay, when we go to Matthew, right, 10 and you read from the top verse, from the first verse. This is dealing with the apostles that Yahushua gathered. In the 4th verse, it says Simon the Canaanite. So it said that one of the disciples of Yahushua was named the Canaanite. Was he an actual Canaanite? No. When you go to the word Canaanite, the word Canaanite means zealot. When you go back into the origins of the word, jealous ones. All right, zealot. He was not a Canaanite. All right, but you wouldn't know that unless you went into the etymology of the word. Now moving on from there, we go to Numbers 13 and 6, of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. So Caleb is of the tribe of Judah. Out of all the men, here it is, Moses picked one man out of each tribe of the nation of Israel. So you mean to tell me that there were no Judites, not one Judite back then, that was worthy to go on this mission? So they had to find this devout Edomite, right? This devout Edomite, and gave him an honorary title of a Judite, Caleb. Come on, man. How stupid does that sound? And if Caleb was an Edomite, how come because he made it to the promised land, right? How come when they encountered the Edomites, the Edomites, the king of Edom and them, they didn't want Israel to pass through their land? How come he couldn't say, come on, man, we brothers, come on, man, hook us up? He couldn't give a good word to the other Edomite brothers to allow Israel to pass through the land? How stupid do you guys sound? Now, to say that Caleb is an Edomite because he was a Kenizzite is about as ridiculous as saying that I'm trying to think of an example, but it's stupid, bottom line, because the name Kenizzite doesn't just apply to the Edomites. As we read here, you have Israelites that were named Kenaz, you had Edomites that were named Kenaz. Okay, I'm just trying to make a point here. When we go to the book of Genesis, in the beginning, you have the 4th chapter of Genesis and the 5th chapter of Genesis in the Old Testament. We're not going to deal with the New Testament. Right? Now, Enoch, the Enoch that we know, that the people are familiar with, is the Enoch of the sons of the Most High. In Genesis, the 5th chapter, verse 18. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years, and begat sons. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with the Most High after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 360. Walked with the Most High, and he was not, for the Most High took him. So this is a man named Enoch, right? Who is of the sons of God. Read the chapter, right? But you also have an Enoch in Cain's lineage. So does that mean that the Enoch in Genesis 5 of the sons of God is the same as a Enoch in Cain's lineage? No, that was a common name back then. Genesis 4:17, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. So you had an Enoch in Cain's lineage, and you had an Enoch in the sons of God's lineage. All right? No, you guys for being such, but have gone to school, have got these prestigious titles and these prestigious what's the word I'm looking for? These prestigious titles and these prestigious certificates. You guys are not that smart. Trying to base something off of a name. Oh, because he was called the Kenite, that means he goes back to the land of Esau. No. Because it would have said Caleb, an Edomite, stepped in for the tribe of Judah. It didn't say that. It just like you try to say that that Job is an Edomite because his name was really Jobab, which that's nowhere in the scriptures. That's something that's in a commentary at the end of the chapter in the Septuagint. Or he went back to Jobab, and you go to Jobab in the lineage of Esau. That don't mean shit. First of all, it didn't call him Jobab. It called him Job. He was a righteous man. He eschewed evil. Esau does not eschew evil. Esau is the wicked, and they were created to be the wicked. So by you saying that Caleb is an Edomite because he is a Kenites is as ridiculous as saying that the Enoch in Cain's line and the Enoch in the sons of God's line are the same person. They come from the same line. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I just couldn't put it into words. All right, now moving on, because it ain't done. Once again, we got the line of the sons of the Most High, right? Genesis 5:25. And Methuselah lived 180 years, 180 and 7 years, and begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 780 and 2 years, and begot sons and daughters, right? Verse 30. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah. So Lamech, Noah's father, came of the lineage of the sons of God. But when you go back up to the 4th chapter, and unto Enoch, was born Irad, and Irad begot Mehujael, and Mehujael begot Methusael, and Methusael begot Lamech. So you had a Lamech in the lineage of Cain, the wicked, and you had a Lamech in the lineage of the sons of God. Now, because they had the same name, does that mean that Lamech is the same as a Lamech in the Cain's line? No. You see? Now, let's see what else we got. Genesis 10, right? We go to 23rd verse, 22nd verse. Matter of fact, I started at 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam. Elam, which are the so-called East Indians today, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. Now, Elam is a heathen. They come of that heathen line, right? Elam is a name, a common name in Hebrew, Ayalam. You go to the book of Ezra, chapter 2, the children of Elam, 1,254. Now, who is this? This is not talking about the Elamites. This is talking about Israelites, because this is a lineage of Israelites. All right? And this lineage of Israelites was when the after the temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, the Medo-Persian Empire gave Israel the ability to go back to the land to build back the tabernacle, the temple, the Jerusalem, so on and so forth. And you had a man by the name of Elam that had children who was an Israelite. Now we go to the name Elam, Ayalam, which means young. They got here eternity. They got it connected to Ayalam, the other Ayalam, the age. Here it says Elam, a Korhite Levite in the time of David. So you had a Levite by the name of Elam, a chief man of the tribe of Benjamin. You had a Benjaminite by the name of Elam. So does that mean that they're Elamites? Because their name is Elam and they said that they were of the sons of Elam? No. It says ancestor of a family of exiles who returned was Zerubbabel, Israelites. A chief of the people who signed the covenant with Nehemiah, Israelites. Another ancestor of another family of exiles who returned was Zerubbabel, a priest who assisted at the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem in the time of Nehemiah. Or that could have been an Edomite, no. An Elamite, no. Because remember what they said, the nations had nothing to do to build with Israel. Another head of a family returning exiles. Then it says a province east of Babylon and northeast of the lower Tigris. And in Genesis 10, it should have mentioned the patriarch of the Elamites. They didn't mention the patriarch. It just mentioned the province. You know, when you look at a map, you'll see where Elam is located. Elam, the Iranians, all in that area. Those are the Elamites today. Okay, right here, look. Distant. Elam, a son of Shem, and his descendants with their country. Also of 6 Israelites named Elam. So because their names are Elam, does that make them Elamites? No. So that's just as ridiculous as saying that, because it said here, right? Didn't it say in Ezra, the 2nd chapter, that they were the children of Elam? They weren't the actual Elamites. They were Israelites whose father's name was Elam. Come on, man. Get it together. So Caleb is an Israelite of the tribe of Judah. All right? Not no goddamn, not no goddamn heathen. Right. Caleb, dog, the godly son of Jephunneh, and the faithful spy who reported the promised land favorably and urged its capture, which he was of the tribe of Judah, son of Hezron and grandson of Perez. There's another one, and great-grandson of Judah, and the father of Hur and grandfather of Caleb the spy, which that's that's the same line, Judites. Right here it says Caleb, the name of what? 3 Israelites. How come they say 3 Israelites or 2 Israelites and an Edomite? Caleb. Come on, man. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. So I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time, I say shalom.